Hi guys, welcome to another video. This is the second unit that the same customer bought me with the TV, the Samsung TV. It's a Toshiba VCR DVD combo, and the issue with this one is it is dead. So if we plug in the power to confirm that, we should have a standby LED on there. There's no power, so hopefully it's something simple in the power supply. We'll get the cover off and have a look. Okay, so we're in. Power supply looks like it's on the main board down here. So we're going to have to get the DVD unit out to get down to the power supply. Again, you can see, well, I don't know if you can see this yellowing, the nicotine. Pretty nasty. Okay, so on this power supply for the VCR, the only thing I found was a blown fuse, the main fuse blown. I went through the circuit, I checked the rectifier diodes, checked the main capacitors, checked the main transistor here, nothing shorted. Came through, I checked the values of these capacitors on the secondary side. Everything seems to be in spec. Check these two capacitors here on the input side. Sometimes they crack and become shorted. Nothing that I can see is faulty except for the fuse. Now normally the fuse would blow because something else is shorted. So I have a little test fuse here with a very fine wire soldered across it. So we're going to do the fun thing and plug it in, switch it on, and see if the wire burns or not. Yeah, I can't test anything else that seems faulty. So we may be just lucky and have just a fuse issue. So I'm gonna sit back a little bit, and this here is the fuse. Let's see if it pops. Power's on, nothing went bang, nothing smoking. Switch power off and then switch it back on again. So if there was a short, that fuse would have gone straight away. So the power supply now is live. I'm just going to put it in DC and measure on the coal side. I want to see if I can get some kind of voltage. So this is labeled as ground, I think. Just want to see if this is putting out any kind of voltages. It may need to be connected to the rest of the board to start up the main power supply, but it's a good sign that that fuse hasn't blown. So let's obviously I'm being very careful, I'm not touching anything that's live. Just want to measure the main filter cap and see if we are getting our voltage there. So that's these guys here. We're in voltage DC. We do have our 160 volts there. So power's going into the unit now. Nothing started up yet because I think it needs to be connected to the main board. So let's switch off that power. It could be something on this side, on this main board, which is shorting, which popped that fuse, but that's unlikely because this will be low voltage going through here and the fuse is on the high voltage side. So there will still be voltage in this capacitor that I'm holding by the head, so don't do as I do. I'll put that back in place. I'll just put one screw in there to hold it down. The main power is switched off. And that's a grounding screw. We'll put the ribbon cable in. Some space here. So these go to the CD deck. This goes to the audio video inputs on the front. Make sure that that's not shorting. So what we should get is a standby light that comes on here. So that's plugged in, main ribbon's in. Let's switch it on, see what happens. So we're getting some life now, but it's resetting. So we still could have an issue with the power supply. I have done one of these before where I had to change some of these capacitors, even though they measured okay. They were not staying, they were not within spec, and it was causing the power supply to reset. But I also want to attach this deck back in place because there's a bunch of circuitry on there which the unit might be looking for before it switches on. So let's kill the power and bring the deck back in place. And we'll hook this up and see if it stays on. Just goes down in there. Right, these two cables. Okay. Now we'll see if it stays on or not. So give it power. Okay, so the lights came on briefly, the little laser spun, and now the lights are off, so it's not recycling. So I'm going to push the power button here. And we have power. And it is staying on. The fan is on. Where is our eject here? Were we lucky and it was just a fuse? That's a bit boring. Let me put a DVD in there and see if it spins up. A CD for now. Okay, so it picked that up. Do we have a play? Let's play. And it is playing fine. Well, I say playing fine, it's spinning, but I'll connect it to the TV and give it a proper test. I'm going to need to go through and clean all of these guides. They're full of nicotine smoke. I'll clean the laser because that'll always get a film of nicotine or a film of dirt over it. But it is playing, so stop this one. Open, close. This is a proper DVD disc. Make sure that that spins up. Still says loading. And it's playing, the counter's going, so I think we were lucky. I mean, it was just a fuse. I'm going to replace that with a proper one, not my little test fuse. It's just a normal, I think it was labeled as a 1 amp fuse. So we'll replace the fuse, we'll go through and do a full clean all the pinch rollers and the guide arms, and then stick it on the other bench and let it run a full test. Maybe I'll test this on the TV unit that I fixed for the same customer and let them play for the day. There's the doorbell, I'm going to have to grab that. Okay, so just a quick roundup. There's the Toshiba VCR DVD player that is playing, and that's the same customer's TV that we fixed in a previous video. So everything seems to be good. Tested the DVD side and also the VHS side, and both are working fine. So we'll call that another successful repair. We'll get on with the third item that this customer brought me, which is a little JVC mini hi-fi system. So thanks again for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one. Ciao.